Handicappers Report, brought to you by the Clubhouse Racebook, 711 Central Avenue, Albany, and CapitalOTBBet.com, the premier online wagering site in New York State. CapitalOTBBet.com. Sign up today.
Good morning and welcome to the Handicappers Report on this Saturday morning, Saturday, January 22nd. The year of 2020 moving along about 3 weeks in, and that means 1 week away from the Pegasus. And so we're looking forward to that. And speaking of Pegasus, I'm going to look at some Aqueduct today, but Brian Nadeau will look at some Gulfstream. Again, on the way in this morning on my thermometer in the car dashboard, -4. Once again, I'm guessing a little more comfortable down there.
Yeah, it was steamy down here yesterday. It's been very humid all week. I think we've gotten past that little cold spell for here at least. I think next week it might cool a little bit. Yeah, right. We did get like 3 inches of rain on, I think it was Wednesday afternoon, Wednesday night into Thursday morning. So we're still off the turf, which is unfortunate. We had a couple Florida bred stakes today that are going to be off the turf, but it poured like heck here for a good extended period of time. So we're off the turf today on an 11 race card that kicks off at noon. And, you know, the calm before the storm set, as you kind of alluded to, Pegasus World Cup Day, next Saturday, 7 stakes, 7 graded stakes, 4 of them on the grass, highlighted by Nick's Go and Life is Good. Life is Good work this morning. Talked for about 20 minutes yesterday with Brad Cox, all systems go with Nick's Go, who will ship on Monday to come to Gulfstream in defense of his Pegasus World Cup title before he heads off to the breeding shed. And Life is Good, like I said, worked this morning, looked great from the video I saw at least. And then Colonel Liam coming back to defend his title in the Pegasus World Cup turf, and then the newly minted Pegasus World Cup filly and mare turf as well. Got a release yesterday, 750 in the late 4 and late 5 next Saturday. So it's an exciting day. It's the centerpiece of the meet, Seth. I know obviously Florida Derby in April, but all things Pegasus down here right now. It's that's what everybody has circled the 29th on their calendar for months now, quite frankly.
Yeah, really looking forward to it. You said just now, and you were talking when we were off the air, that you had a little talk with Brad Cox, kind of a press conference situation, and I think that kind of indicates the interest in this race that has been building really since the Breeders' Cup, because you said there was kind of a full house of press, which is nice to kind of see. A number of outlets wanted to get some questions in with Brad, but I think it just indicates the level of interest that there is, and it's just going to get higher and higher over the next 7 days.
Yeah, and it's just, you can't oversell it. This is as seismic a matchup between Life is Good and Nick's Go, 2 eerily similar horses. And take it one step further, and I actually asked this to Brad yesterday. Life is Good is in the exact same scenario Nick's Go was in last year. Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile winner, trying to stretch out to 9 furlongs, trying to prove he is, grade 1 quality at 9 furlongs as opposed to a mile or a mile and a 16th. And Nick's Go is already there. Now he's proven at a mile and a quarter. And boy, Brad was quietly confident. He said, I respect the hell out of Life is Good, but we're not taking our horse out of our game. If he wants to go with us, he can go with us. We're going, though. And it's just, that's the other part of this. It's not like Rachel Alexander and Zenyatta, and I know they never met, but one of them wants to go to the front. The other one wants to come from dead last. No. These 2 horses are literally going to be eyeball to eyeball, until something has to give, you would think, as a handicapper. So it'll be fascinating. It will be an absolute showdown next Saturday right here in Hollandale Beach. I can't wait.
Yeah, you and the rest of the racing world really looking forward to it. As far as today's, you said Gulfstream off the turf, but as far as we know at this point, the tracks that were on the sidelines yesterday, I think, are all back for us. I'll be taking a look at Aqueduct, and they're, as far as we know, all systems go. Oaklawn should be back in the mix today as well this afternoon. And top of the hour, At 10 o'clock, I will be joined by your friend and mine, Joe Christofek from Fairgrounds. They have a really, really nice card down there today. The LeCompte, Papa Cap will take a lot of action. I think Epicenter and Cyberknife are a little bit interesting in there, but also Mandaloon and Midnight Bourbon, two of last year's top 3-year-olds in that really nice 3-year-old class. They come back on the Fairgrounds card as well. Really great card down in New Orleans. So we'll have Joe Christofek. Also, Ellis Starr will join us. He'll take a little look at Fairgrounds and also a couple of stakes at Aqueduct today. So plenty of racing conversation coming up on Racing Across America as well. But we will jump in with some racing conversation. Ready to kick things off with Gulfstream?
Yeah, let's do it. Looking forward to it.
The opener at Gulfstream on this Saturday. It's a maiden claimer, $16,000 tag scheduled on the synthetic, 1.70 miles.
So we'll give the one-sheet selections. I don't have scratches yet. When I get down to the office, I'll have them updated. So we're going to lose the turf races, obviously. 6-8, 10-3-2 to kick off the early pick 5, and I'm also adding the 11 to my ticket, but we can only go 5 deep on the one sheet. It's that kind of race. Poetic Code is my price play of the day. He had a very negative flow last time. The top 2 ran around 1-2. I had it as a dead rail on the Tapeta on January 1st. So I think Poetic Code gets some things going his way today. He's got to improve, but maybe he can do it. Clearly, Savage Sailor and Board Certified are the 2 horses to beat. And Savage Sailor got his second start over a synthetic. First start here at Gulfstream last time was a really good second. It's a race that probably wins this, but it'll be a short price. It's a big field. Maybe, he's got to pass a bunch of horses. So we'll see if, that plays into it. And then Board Certified as well for Jorge Duarte, start trying to get going at the meet. But Paco is here, and he ran well last time, trying the Tapeta for the first time as well. 6-8, 10-3-2 in a tough opener.
Oh, I meant to ask you at the top of the show because I didn't see it. Usually when I'm doing the show, I'm in the afternoon. Obviously, I'm watching you guys, and so I'm usually watching the Friday, and I pick up on it. I didn't hear yesterday. Who's beat the expert today? Is it you?
It is me.
So
it is me.
People can jump on the Gulfstream website and try to take you on for a Saturday afternoon, and then a winner. Do they randomly select if there are multiple winners? Maybe there will be none. You'll have a big day. But somebody winds up with a polo shirt, right?
Yeah, I think, geez, don't quote me, but I think everybody gets paid because we showed last week 3 people beat Ronnie. So and he's been setting the bar pretty high. Ron, Acacia, myself will alternate. So it's back to me today, and then I think it'll be Ron next Saturday. Beat the legend next Saturday. So.
So again, go to the Gulfstream Park website and click on the Beat the Expert link, and you'll find out the details. But the second race at Gulfstream, early pick 4 action. Again, maiden 16 claimers. This time, a sprint distance on the Tapeta of 5 furlongs.
Yeah, if you need a single, I think in this sequence, it's clearly Awesome Family who I single 4 over to 3-7. I mean, both of his last 2 races on the Tapeta are going to bury this field. I mean, there's nothing in here. He could be as low as like 2-5, Seth, in a spot like this. Either of those races are going to beat this field by open lengths. And he still has upside off just 4 lifetime starts. Joyful Surprise was close to him last time, but he came back and was terrible last time. He's got a race in between, so that's the other thing. I mean, I would think that Awesome Family gets the job done at a short number in here. 5-finger discount and number 7, Midnight Tequila underneath, but I don't see him threatening Awesome Family if he runs back to either of those recent races.
Race number 3, a plain vanilla $20,000 claimer. Again, the synthetic, this time 8.5 furlongs.
4-2-3-6. Rohan Crichton does such a good job off the claim. He's 32% from a 22-horse sample now, and the ROI is comfortably over $2. This horse won last time, is right back in for 20. It doesn't bother me at all. Claimed for 20, runs for 20. The purse is 34, and I just think he's in a good spot. The class drop for Starship Malamar is a big one, but the Tapeta run 3-back, it was a win. It was an easy win. Don't get me wrong. It really wasn't a lot faster than anyone else in here. So I think she might be a little better on turf, even though she did really run well on the Tapeta. I'll put her underneath Lido Key for Maker and Rapoli. The barn is Barn is struggling, Seth. There's just no two ways around it, really. And Mike is here now, so I've said this. I said it on the air. Maybe the barn starts picking up a little bit, but it hasn't happened yet. And then further down, Appointed off the Bobby DeBona claim, but it's tough to improve off De La Cerda. And Bobby's solid, but he's actually only 9% off the claim. So and 1 for 21 on the Tapeta on the synthetic. So take note of that. But we do go 4-2-3-6 in race 3.
Race number 4 at Gulfstream kicks off stakes action, the Sunshine Turf. However, as you noted earlier, off the turf today, $75,000 up for grabs for the Florida breds. And again, the Sunshine Turf, race number 4.
6-2-4-1, 6-2-4, and it always was 6-2-4. I was really hoping this was on the turf because I was going to try to beat Shamrocket. I'll talk about him first because he ran last week and he won on dirt. You see it, Seth. 73 buyer. I mean, he struggled so mightily.
I said after the race, I was in doing the handicapping show, and I said, it was a great place to try the dirt because he just outclassed him. And I said, when I handicapped, I went back and forth, and I eventually put him on top. I said, I just think he's going to be better than these horses. He was barely better, and I said, if they come out after the race, I said, first, I want to see the number, but if they come out after this race and say, oh, our options are all over the place now, yeah, not really. He'll be back on the turf.
Yeah, and here's the thing, too, because as you said, and you saw this race, he had to work hard. So this wasn't a public workout. He's back on 7 days after running hard last week. He didn't run backwards and beat this field under wraps. He had to work hard to run that 73 buyer. This is not Todd Pletcher's jam. I mean, running back on a week has never happened. Typically, Todd's a 4 or 5 week guy, let alone 3 weeks. So, he might win again today as he outclasses this field, but he's never been on a synthetic, and Max KO for Sappy's got tactical speed. Has got a second on the Tapeta, 2 back, and I just think he's going to be a much better price too. I read Ortiz returns today too, Seth, so he's back a lot quicker than everybody kind of thought. So take note of that too. And I just think Max KO at a better price with a better draw with better tactical speed, and he's not back on a week's rest. He's on good spacing here. I think it's a great time to try to beat Shamrocket, who is much the best in terms of class, in terms of turf. But that's not what we're getting today. So it's 6-2, and then maybe a little gap back to lure him in for Bobby Hess Jr. The distance, I know it's 9 furlongs. That's the other thing with Shamrocket, too. I know it's 9 furlongs. These guys have been running much, much farther, and I think that's where they really class up and they really can get the benefit of the longer trips, and that's where they take charge. At 9 furlongs today, I really think it tilts towards Max KO, put him on top over Shamrocket, and then lure him is in third.
Yeah, Shamrocket, yet another surface switch with the off-the-turf situation today. It'd be interesting to see what he does do. But yeah, last week he did have to work for that one. The 5th race today at Gulfstream, bottom-level conditional claimers going 3/4 of a mile.
It's 5 over the 2-4. I gotta see. I did single You're the Best to end the early pick 5, and I don't like the slew of losses or the 1 for 14 with 6 slices, but I like the post. Paco is here, and I think Ideal Breeze with Irad was favored, but boy, look at that race last time. A total no-show for 20. Now he's in for 62.50, 6,250. And I just don't want anything to do with him. And I think You're the Best with Paco from this post with her tactical style is in a really good spot because the horses, the main contenders are to her inside. And I think that's beneficial too. Musically Inclined in second. She's been running well at this level, 3 starts in a row. And then number 4, Freezer Burn. We'll call her the other Barboza, not that she doesn't have a shot, but 0 for 10 in 2021. I didn't even use Ideal Breeze. I put her in 4th. I just have no idea what to make of her. And Delgado does such a good job off the claim, Seth, too. And my goodness, she was essentially eased last time. So you can have her at a short number. I don't want her. You're the Best single to end the early pick 5.
And Ideal Breeze goes out for Hee-Haw Racing, and I mentioned it, I don't know, a couple of weeks ago when I noticed they may have won a race. That may have been why I noticed it. Came into the winner's circle, and their silks feature an atom symbol, which you would think would be come from Einstein's stable or something. The dichotomy there of the atom on the silks and Hee-Haw Racing. I'd love to know what the story is there with the Hee-Haw folks. But
yeah, you would have thought it maybe Minnie Pearl or Roy Clark would be on the silks.
Exactly. A hay bale and some guys kind of with the banjo, but no, they have the atom, so they've gone in a completely different direction. We'll go in a different direction and head to a commercial. When we come back, we'll look at today's Rainbow Six sequence at Gulfstream. Stay tuned. Having trouble finding us? It's actually quite simple. Whether online or on your TV, it's never been easier to watch and wager on championship horse racing with Capital OTB. Simply log on to capitalotbbet.com. There you can watch our morning shows, live stream races, and wager on our state-of-the-art wagering platform. You can also watch from the comfort of your home on Spectrum Cable Channel 1250 or Fios Channel 467, and win more with Capital OTB. Welcome back to Handicappers Report on Saturday morning, the week before, as it were. Pegasus 1 week away, but still some great racing action down at Gulfstream on this Saturday afternoon. And we kick off the Rainbow Six sequence with race number 6 today, maiden optional claimer. 6 furlongs is the trip.
4857, $450,000 in the gross guarantee Rainbow Six today. So take note of that. It's starting to build again. I think we're hoping to pay it out maybe next Sunday. I believe that's what they did last year. Miles of Smiles for Joe Orsino took a lot of money on debut, and then it kind of all went wrong, broke slowly, had to go really, really wide. The winner ran off that day by 8, but his daughter of Perspective was only beaten 9 1/4 in third. Now Irad jumps aboard for Corey Lannery. There's a lot of reason to think she moves forward in a big way today. Lasix goes on as well. Outside to Folklaw for Chad and Peter Brandt. And they paid 3 and change for this daughter, a practical joke. And now she's in for 50 on debut. That's not a great sign. That's just point blank. It's not a great sign. Tyler Gaffleone is here, and as good as he is, he doesn't have great stats with Chad. I like this outside post. That's beneficial to me, but I think you're going to have to take an underlaid price on a horse that I'm not sold is a runner or not. London Lady is okay for your guy Trombo. Trombo's really struggling down here, Seth, to get going. He's had some horses run okay, but the barn is struggling a little bit, and a lot of them have been in good spots too and hard to capture. There's 2 in here for Cassie. The first, or Tag Her, is a Live Oak homebred with a nice pedigree. And I have no story on either of these 2 horses, but Luis Saez rides the 7 and Sean Bridgman rides the 3. So I'm just going with that. And hard to capture adds a Lasix. Maybe that keeps her around a little bit longer because she's been tiring very, very badly in her 2 starts. 4857 in race 6, Rainbow Six time.
All right, let's move on to race number 7, optional claimer with a non-winners of 1 condition. Again, as you noted earlier, off the turf today, so they move to the synthetic for race number 7.
Yeah, it's the same picks, 5, 6, 8, 7 for me. Gingrich for Brian Lynch, who's Brian's had a nice championship meet. Everything he sent out has been very, very live, and she's going to like the class drop out of the Dania Beach last time, where she was a fine third. So she's, Silverton Hill. I think she'll run well in here. The Tapeta is obviously now the question mark for most of these three-year-olds, excuse me. You don't know until they get over it. Simple as that. Credibility for Cassie off the Breeders' Cup no-show, Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf is certainly a player, but I think he'll also be a big underlay. Red Knobs has never been on the synthetic either, and he's basically a dirt horse. So Dale Romans is going to try the Tapeta. He's got no speed whatsoever. That's not a bad thing on the Tapeta. The outside closers, stalker closers have typically been best, and then Wake Surf for Rusty, who's had a couple wins at the meet, this being one of them, rises in class and faces winners. As I look, Seth, always Gambling is going to move up on the Tapeta, but is unproven at 2 turns. And Lament and Eternal Rest have okay form on the Tapeta. But I'm just going to stick with the classier horses and the turf horses. 5, 6, 8, 7, late pick 5 time as well.
When you mentioned Dale, it reminded me, I didn't bring it up earlier, but I have the PPs here. Today and tomorrow, another one of the Kentucky Derby future pools. So folks should keep that in mind. It'll close tomorrow, Sunday, probably about 6 o'clock or so. But I brought it up because, again, Dale has, for our friends at West Point, Giant Game is on the list of potential Derby future plays for this weekend. Dash Attack's a little interesting to me. I don't know, it's one of those you got to take a look at. You're on Dash Attack, I don't think you get the right odds. At this pool, you're looking at 20, 30 to 1 is what you want. And so, again, and also you want to wait until today's races are done, because there's a 3-year-old race also at Turfway later on tonight, in addition to the LeCompte down at Fairgrounds. But you want to wait until those races are over before you make your plays. But jump in on the future pool if something does float up that attracts your attention. All right, let's move on to race number 8 on Saturday. Maiden special 3-year-old fillies going 8.5 furlongs.
So this is my best bet of the day, 9 over the 10-3, and Liam's Kiss for Todd and Stone Street and Tyler Gaffalione. You go back and you watch the debut, Seth, and she just looked like a horse, a grinder, a horse that needed more ground, that needed another turn. Tyler really had to get into her to kind of keep contact with the field and maybe to try to figure this game out a little bit. And if you watch in deep stretch, maybe the light bulb went on in deep stretch. Now she goes from 6 to 8.5. Todd's got huge stats, stretching out second-time maiden 3-year-olds at Gulfstream. And I just think the breakthrough is coming in a big, big way for Liam's Map. And that painfully slow 48 buyer she ran, it might, you might get an okay price on her too. Maybe you get $9 on her. Don't forget short finish line here too. And I think that'll probably, I don't think it's going to be a bad thing for her, because I expect her to be a lot closer on the stretch out today. Number 10, Butterbean for Kenny McPeak, coming out of the restricted races at Churchill. She's been a good second both of her starts, and that's going to put her in the mix here. And then number 3, Rita Marga for Kelsey Danner, who was 27 to 1 on debut and was a really good second. Well, that's long gone today, going 7 furlongs. Now she stretches out. She's a huge threat as well. But I really like Liam's Kiss in here on the stretch out. My play of the day, 9 over the 10-3 in race 8.
Race number 9, 10,000 to 12.5, conditional claimer on the synthetic at 1.70 miles.
Tough race, Seth. 9, 12, 10, 3, 8 for me. And we go outside to Sweeney's Cap, who's got good form, good figures, has been coming out of fast races for the level. And my notes are here where, closers were 1, 2, 4 in the race last time. And he was 4th throughout. So he was part of the pace. And really, he was the only one to stick around. So I think it was a better race than it looked. And I'll put him on top in a real scramble here. Another Duke drops in class. Mike Yates has struggled to get wins at the meet, though. There's just no way around it. This horse is wide, is going to be wide the entire way. I think you have to use them, but maybe, tread a little lightly on top. Big Blue, I mentioned Rusty Arnold already. This is a turf runner that gets Luis Saez, needs to prove he can do the synthetic thing. Down inside, Mac was a long shot play for me last time, but now he faces winners on the class rise, but he did run fast. Impressive speed for Marty Drexler, who won yesterday, coming down from Woodbine. So you just got to use a lot of horses in here. 9, 12, 10, 3, 8, and a real tough puzzle in this late pick 5.
More stakes action in race number 10, the Sunshine Millions Filly and Mayor Turf, but we are now on the synthetic in race number 10.
Yeah, and that cloud stings. It makes it problematic. I'm leaving my picks alone. 7 over the 2-4. I think Sugar Fix is just better than these. She won the Claiming Crown last time, and yeah, this is a class rise, but a couple things are really in her favor, I think. She is going to like this about a mile trip now, and she's tactical, whereas you look at Sister O'Toole, you look at Kelsey's Cross, you could argue they're better horses, but going this trip, it's better fit for Sugar Fix. Sister O'Toole and Kelsey's Cross especially, they want to run farther. They need pace to run at. I don't really see them getting it today. Sugar Fix gets first run, opens up and holds on over Sister O'Toole and Kelsey's Cross. I don't, maybe it's a starting off point for Graham and Sister O'Toole, but a mile's got to be way too sharp for her. And Kelsey's Cross, she ran a mile last time, and the horses she was in were much better, lengths better than this group today. I still think she wants to run farther than this. So Sugar Fix is in a good spot. 7 over the 2-4.
And we move on to the finale, race number 11 on this Saturday afternoon, scheduled to go off about 5:15. Mile and 70 is the trip for maiden claimers on the synthetic.
7-6 over the 3. You're going to get a short price on Beloved Warrior, but he's the one to beat. Drops off 4 maiden special weights for Safi, where he really couldn't make a dent, and now he's in for 35. Lasix goes on. Today is supposed to be the day. If it's not, I would tread very lightly with him going forward. Fishing for Fun has run very well in the last 2 starts on the Tapeta, adding blinkers, and he gets Lasix today, so he's the main danger. Star Shopping down inside off a bad trip last time at Turfway and a better post today. Maybe he's in the mix a little bit, but I think it's all about Beloved Warrior. I'll go 7-6 in the finale.
All right, that takes us through the Gulfstream card. We'll take a break and we'll shift our attention to New York for this Saturday afternoon. Stay tuned.
Birdstone is an outside front. They're coming down to the finish. Can Smarty Jones hold on? Here comes Birdstone. Birdstone surges past. Birdstone wins the Belmont Stakes. In front, but here comes Hot Chaparral. Hot Chaparral, the defending champ, to take it to Falbrough. These two arch rivals head to head with Joe Hart bearing down on them. It's going to be a 3-horse photo finish in the turn. Here's the wire. Photo finish.
The Clubhouse Racebook is the Capital Region's new home for racing and sports. 25,000 square feet of Vegas-style action with live wagering on the best horse racing from around the world. 260 flat-screen televisions and state-of-the-art wagering terminals. So don't miss out. The fun is only minutes away at 711 Central Avenue, Albany, just off exit 5 of I-90. And don't forget, if you can't make it to the Clubhouse, you can always wager online 24/7 at capitalotb.com.
Come on.
I want sales reports on my desk by Monday.
Oops. My bad.
Love racing? RTN brings you every live simulcast on your home television, plus live video streaming and race replays on your PC and mobile devices. To order, visit rtn.tv. RTN, a breed apart.
Welcome back to the Saturday Handicappers Report. Brian here in South Florida. Seth is not here in South Florida. He is up there in Albany, where it's a little more frigid, I think.
You were talking before we came on about leaving the apartment and your power cord left behind, and I said, I've done that before in here. And I'll ask if your situation was the same. You turn on the computer, you realize you left the power cord. and the whole afternoon you're looking at that battery at the bottom.
Oh, yeah.
You got the fingers crossed. Keep going, keep going,
Oh, yeah.
keep going. Yeah, no, I've been
Power, you got your power saving energy or all that stuff on your battery stuff. I had no idea, knew what was about. So I think I shut it down last Saturday at about 4% at about 5:30 in the PM. So we're good to go. We got it packed away. I got to open my phone up though to see the opener is a state bred. We're at Aqueduct. That first post is 12:20. State bred maiden special weights for the 3-year-old fillies going 6 furlongs.
I have a 3, 6, 1, and 2, and I'm going to see if I may have missed the wedding here, and I'm going to the funeral. But I really like Cairo Prince as a sire of win early types, debut runners, and if I don't have him on top, I'll have him in the mix. Well, the past week and a half, maybe less a week, there have been 2 at various venues. I think one was at Oaklawn last week, but regardless, 2 Cairo Prince first-time starters that won at huge prices, but there was enough there on the breeding, and the races were such that I kind of kicked myself. I didn't have either one of them even in the mix, even though I almost always look at those. So this is a Cairo Prince firster that I thought had some breeding. We're getting 5-1 on the morning line. I didn't want to let another one get by me. As I say, though, I may be too late on that whole scenario over the past couple of weeks. But Cairo Prince on top. The dam herself is a sibling to Orb. So I thought there was some first-out breeding here that was maybe a little bit interesting. So we'll put the 3 Hudson Canyon on top. Again, I have a 3, 6, 1, and 2, so I'll go out to Laochi in the second spot. We'll see if this one runs. This is one of those that making a quick comeback. I like the quick comeback typically. I think it shows confidence from the connections, so that this one comes back off a third-place finish, beaten at 7-5, said, you know what, let's give us another shot. We have a race we're eligible for. We'll take that pop in there. So I'll put that one in the mix. And I'm just looking here. I think that was the nice Roddy Valenti firster, Stone Creator, that beat Laochi last week. But again, quick comeback there. And then Bank on Anna in the third spot. Decent debut, and off the debut, they got ambitious and tried the New York Stallion Series. They were a little overmatched there. Get back to the proper level. Add Lasix today, so Bank on Anna, clearly a player as well. In the opener at Aqueduct, 3, 6, 1, and 2.
Race 2, a 1-turn mile, $35,000, 3 L's, 4 and up.
6, 2, 7, and 5 for me. I will put Bingo John on top, and this is one of those, made the move that I liked quite a bit last time, and I'm going to give this one another shot. I like that move, moving out of state bred allowance into an open claimer, an open conditional claimer, even better. Did that last time, was not successful. What was the beaten favorite was behind a next out winner. It was back in the middle of October, so a little bit of a layoff since. The trainer, a little cool over the 2021 season, but Kendrick Carmouche does elect to jump on board, having a really good meet at Aqueduct, so that he and his agent looked at this horse and said, let's give it a shot. Again, in a second try against conditional claimers after having moved out of the state bred allowance condition. I'm going to look for Bingo John, maybe to be intriguing here at a price. Air Show in the second spot, comes out of a nice win last time against 25,000 and 2 L's. These are 35,000 and 3, so has moved up not only condition but price. And sometimes that move up, a horse will take a start or two to figure things out at the next level up. We'll see, but I think the way this horse won last time, Air Show will fit nicely with this bunch, and then Opt in the third spot. There are back numbers that are okay. That said, the last, 4 races have not been much, including the turf to dirt move last time. But again, there are back numbers that I think are okay. And with a class move, maybe we'll rebound back to those. That's kind of what I'm hoping. The 4-1 on the morning line isn't super attractive off the last few starts. We'll see where the horse moves as the betting actually proceeds. But again, playable given the scenario today. Second race at Aqueduct, 6, 2, 7, and 5.
The third is a $50,000 starter allowance. We go 7 furlongs, 4 and up here. Seth, I will throw it to you, and I'm going to head down south to Gulfstream. I'm on the morning show with Acacia. And then next week, I can't wait to do it again when we've got Pegasus World Cup Day.
Yeah, really looking forward to it, and have a great time. Enjoy you and Ron and Acacia and Ashley as well down there watching, as I say, when I'm in here doing the afternoon, watching you. And we're usually plugging in your paddock commentary as well. So have fun today. Enjoy the warm weather, and we will be down joining you a little later this season for Florida Derby. I would say we've been saying off the air, wish we were going down next week to see that matchup, but looking forward to the stop later in the season. We will, however, live vicariously this afternoon, so enjoy the afternoon.
Thanks, Seth. We'll get the band back together in April. Looking forward to it. Good luck, everyone. Take care.
Sounds good. Third race at Aqueduct, 5, 4, 8, and 3. Royal Realm on top. I don't jump on this one with a lot of confidence, but it's that kind of race where I think you can point at least 3 or 4 in here, have about the same level of confidence, but I'll tilt in this direction with a first off the claim angle. The trainer's okay first off the claim. This horse has been, kind of knocking at the door over the past few starts. Beaten favorite last time. I'm not quite sure how the horse will class up off of the last start against Lesser, but 2 and 3 starts back was in this kind of company and was going okay. So again, I'll put Royal Realm on top, but not with a strong amount of confidence. Handy in the second spot. Trainer a little cool at the meet, and they tried Parks last time in a conditional claimer and wound up 4th. Close up 4th, but it's still a 4th place finish. But again, on the numbers, Handy belongs in the mix. Like the top pick, though, I'm not jumping with a lot of confidence because, again, you can point at 3 or 4 in here and feel about the same level of confidence, and I think that's the way the race is going to play out. FF Rocket in the third spot. There are back numbers for the Rob Atras runner that I think say this horse is playable in here. Perhaps at a price, we're looking at 6-1 on the morning line. They had the blinkers today. And again, at the starter allowance level, I don't think this is a super strong field. So, this horse hasn't been really competitive over the last few starts, but you go down a ways, was racing better. And in this bunch, maybe a little bit of a price, FF Rocket is worth an extra look. In the third at Aqueduct, 5, 4, 8, and 3. Race number 4 at Aqueduct on this Saturday afternoon. We are looking at New York bred maiden special runners, 3/4 of a mile. I have it 6, 2, 4, and 3. I will go with Moped Dennis on top. Love to know the story behind that name. Jeremiah Engelhart, trainee, with a string of workouts, and a couple of them underneath are okay. There's a little bit of breeding there that was interesting. So I jump on this one, again, without a lot of confidence, but it's a race where those that have raced don't look like world beaters by any means. There aren't any first-time starters that are jumping off the page at me. But I thought, again, there was enough there, a little bit of breeding, some workouts that were okay. I could tilt in that direction. Hot Rod Rumble is, I was going to say, the most experienced. Now, actually, this horse has 5 starts. There are a couple with 6 starts. But, again, with the 5 starts, hasn't really done anything that jumps off the page. But the last couple of starts, 2 of the last 3 starts are good enough to even, I'm not expecting any of the firsters to jump up and be spectacular. So, again, 2 of the last 3 starts for Hot Rod Rumble probably make that one the one to beat. Saratoga Sky in the third spot by Sky Mesa. A little bit of breeding there that I thought was intriguing. There's a little bit of a price to take a shot with. Mr. Larry, a first-time starter that could be okay. This race is a little bit of a puzzle, unless you feel what we've seen from Hot Rod Rumble can pull you in that direction. And as they say, I don't expect any of the firsters to be anything special, but they don't necessarily have to be special to be competitive, at least with Hot Rod Rumble. So we'll see how the 4th plays out. But for me, I have it 6, 2, 4, and 3. 5th race at Aqueduct on Saturday afternoon. We're looking at a conditional claimer, 6 furlongs the trip. In the 5th race, I have it 5, the 1 entry, 9, and 7. Always like to mention when there are locals involved. And here, our friends at America's Pastime Racing. We had the principals on with us up at Saratoga this past summer, but they have Grape Therapy in here. And also Carly Hustle. I have Carly Hustle underneath in the mix. They're an entry. Between the two, I much prefer Carly Hustle. So I just mentioned the 1A. Again, I have that in the second slot. Used the 5 in the top slot, Quintigua. The nice apprentice Gomez, who, if you haven't read the article in the Racing Forum, go look that up. Talks about Angel Cordero, his agent now and mentor. Can't start out your career getting better advice. And Gomez lost a 10-pound apprentice allowance about a week ago and moved to 7 pounds, but he's been riding okay. So he's on board. Normally, when you get a 10-pound or 7-pound apprentice, I'm a little bit negative, particularly about putting a horse on top. But this young man doing very nicely. So I think this one, a couple of races most recently at this level with Gomez on board. They were okay races. I'll take Quintigua on top. Then I will use Carly Hustle, again, part of an entry, but I much prefer this one, again, for America's Pastime Racing and Company, coming off a couple of good efforts, most recently down at Parks, but before that had run well here at Aqueduct. And then in the third spot, Gone. Has some nice early speed. You would think that will play out. Comes up from the Mid-Atlantic, Parks, Laurel most recently. Just intriguing that they looked in the book and said, let's take a little shot up in New York. And in fact, I think they'll fit okay with this group this afternoon. In the fifth at Aqueduct, 5, 1A, 9, and 7. That will take us to our last break of the hour. Stay tuned. We'll be back with more Handicappers Report right after this.
Where's the best place to find your favorite teams, your favorite food, daily drink specials, and wagering on live horse racing? Legends Field Sports Bar, 711 Central Avenue, Albany. Get your game on day or night with 75 flat-screen TVs, tournament-style pool tables, a private banquet room, and live horse racing. So if someone asks you, where's the best sports bar in the Capital Region? Tell them Legends Field Sports Bar, inside the Clubhouse Racebook, 711 Central Avenue, Albany.
Capital OTB is now streaming live on Roku. The RTN Racing channel on Roku lets you watch OTB TV live through your Roku device or your Amazon Fire Stick, rather than being limited to computers and mobile devices, which means you can now watch OTB live wherever you are. Simply open Roku, scroll to find the RTN channel, then click on OTB TV. OTB TV on Roku. Try it now.
Welcome back to the Handicappers Report on this Saturday morning. Didn't say at the top of the show, but once again, I always want to thank our friends at Gulfstream for their sponsorship during the championship meet, sponsoring some of the programming and events here at Capital OTB. Again, appreciate the support of Gulfstream Park. Don't forget also today here at the Clubhouse Racebook, Match Bet promotion. Stop on by and you can take advantage of that. Have a little extra fun perhaps here at the Racebook this afternoon, 711 Central Avenue in Albany. We would love to have you make this your venue for watching this afternoon's races. Speaking of this afternoon's races, let's dive back in to Aqueduct, race number 6 on Saturday. $16,000 claimers going 6 furlongs. I have it 1, 7, 9, and 3. I will put South Sea on top. In the hunt more often than not really a win machine over the past couple of seasons, but again, typically in the mix. Claimed last time for 25,000, drops down to 16. Now, most of the recent races, going back really better part of a year, going back to last May, have been on the turf. But this horse has pretty good dirt form and a nice bullet workout leading into this on the Belmont training track. So I think this horse is okay. The concern for me is the drop off the claim. I'm never thrilled to see that. But again, with the purse and the claim price, a win and a claim, you're okay. But again, that's a little bit of a concern. but I'll put South Sea on top with a little trepidation. Second spot, Munaki, plenty of early speed, claimed last time. This one, on the other hand, moves up off the claim, but the claim was back at Saratoga. So South Sea has a question mark. Munaki has a question mark. You don't make a $12,500 claim and think, in August, let's wait until, late January before we run again. So obviously some issues they had to deal with, but this is a horse with a little bit of talent if the horse is ready to roll off the claim. And there are a couple of workouts that seem to indicate horse looks to be back on his toes. In the third spot, we will go out to number 9, Mitre Porciento. Had a voided claim last time. That's always a concern. Was claimed 2 back for 40. They came back for 25. The claim was voided. Now they're in for 16. 5-1 on the morning line. So David Aragona is kind of anticipating what I am, at least as far as the betting public. I'm not saying he's thinking what I am, because I think the horse is playable given the back class. But again, the last couple of starts and the claiming situation does raise question marks. It is a race full of question marks. It will be answered at about 2:48 this afternoon. We'll see if my answers are correct. But in the 6th, I have it 1, 7, 9, and 3. Couple of stakes races at Aqueduct this afternoon. The Jazzle, $100,000 for 4-year-olds and up, going 9 furlongs. In the Jazzle, I have a 2, 5, 4, and 7. I put First Constitution on top. Todd Pletcher trainee. Last couple of races fired really good numbers as compared to this bunch. Now, that said, last time for First Constitution, 2 races back for Empty Tomb. Empty Tomb beat First Constitution. I say it a lot. We try to get clever sometimes and switch things up. And the horses are what the horses are, and they run the same situation again. I'm going to look for First Constitution to turn the tables. Beaten favored in that race, whereas Empty Tomb, who won and beat First Constitution, was 22-1 that day. Empty Tomb subsequently came back in the Queens County and ran a decent little second. That was behind Forewarned. That one's back in again today. So you can draw some lines through a few of these and kind of see how they match up. But I'm going to, again, look for First Constitution to maybe live up to what the betting public thought last time as the close-up beaten favorite at 6-5. I'll put that one on top. Core Conviction going out for Chad Brown and Klarovich. Lightly raced, debuted about a year ago on the turf down at Gulfstream. Ran okay that day, but then laid off from January until November. Came back at Aqueduct, nice maiden breaker, followed it up, nice winner of non-winners of 1. The numbers, maybe a touch lighter than you would think would be needed today against some of these horses with a little more experience. But being lightly raced, I don't think moving up 3 or 4 or 5 points is out of the question. And so Core Conviction in the second spot for me. Then Empty Tomb, who, as I say, is in good form over the past couple of starts, and Forewarned also. Fun race, but in the 7th at Aqueduct for me, the Jazzle, 2, 5, 4, and 7. Race number 8 on Saturday afternoon is the Franklin Square. These are state-bred 3-year-old fillies going 6.5. In the 8th, I have it 7, 3, 6, and 9. I'll put Moam on top. And my first inclination was to say Moam, but to check, I pulled up the debut win at Saratoga, and sure enough, John Embriel was saying Moam. I'm going to go with the expert. So Moam it is, and it was a nice-looking win in the maiden debut effort for Horatio De Paz, Barry Schwartz. Decent little number, probably lighter than will be needed today. But off of that layoff, I talk about it quite a bit. If you get a 2-year-old, lightly raced 2-year-old, lightly raced 3-year-old, and they get a little bit of a break like this, they can often come back improved. And this horse doesn't have to move forward very much to maybe have a dominant edge on this field, given what we saw in the debut. So I'll look for that one on the comeback. And you can think, gee, they're coming back off a layoff. Will this horse be improved? Well, you got to like the confident move that they're electing to skip over their conditions and go into a stakes race off the layoff. So I would think the horse will be ready to roll. So Mohiam on top for me. Second spot, Thinking It Over, also coming out of a debut victory for Ray Handel. This one a little more recently. It was the middle of November, so a little bit of a layoff since then. It was also an off-the-turf event, so we will see how this one does, but was favored that day, won nicely. So Thinking It Over underneath for me, and Lilu in the third spot. Benefited clearly from the career debut effort to improve nicely in the second career start and improve in a way and run a race that says this horse will be very competitive this afternoon as well. So in the eighth race at Aqueduct, the Franklin Square, for me, 7, 3, 6, and 9. And in the ninth race today, the ninth and final, going off at about 4:20 this afternoon, 9, 10, 8, and 7. These are state-bred maiden claimers going a mile. I'll put Bohemian Ruby on top. Just a couple of races for Gustavo Rodriguez that have been okay at Aqueduct in the last two starts. Similar races, state-bred maiden 25s, going a mile, both of them. 1/3, last time ran second. So blinkers off today. Maybe that'll switch things up and get some improvement. But I think this is another one of those fairly evenly matched, at least amongst the top 3 or 4. But I'll tilt in this direction. Kendrick Carmouche on board and been knocking on the door recently. Lightly raced Forest Wood Lane. Nice improved number, start 1 to start 2. Last time was behind the top pick, but again, with only the 2 starts, you would think there may be some upside potential for the Chris Engelhart runner. So we'll put that one in the mix. And then Oliver's Fortune, plenty of opportunities, hasn't gotten it done yet. 16 starts, only a second and a third to show for it. But boy, the last 2 numbers seem to indicate this horse probably matches up decently with this bunch and at least picks up a part of it. In the ninth and final at Aqueduct today, 9, 10, 8, and 7. Don't forget, if you didn't get a chance to write down the numbers, as always, you can go to capitalotb.com, click on the handicapping link, then click on Handicappers Report. Nice printable sheet. Most racing days available there with selections from multiple tracks. Gulfstream's on there today, Oaklawn, Aqueduct, so you can check that out again. capitalotb.com. I'm going to wrap it up. Don't forget, as I say, if you go to the Kentucky Derby website, click on Wager, and then one of the selections is Future Pool or Future Wager, and you can click on this weekend's, and they have free PPs actually available as well. So there is a Kentucky Derby Future Pool that will close. It's typically 6 or 6:30 on Sunday, but as I said earlier, watch the race down at Fairgrounds today before you jump in and make any decisions. Unless there's a horse that's not involved that's 50-1 and is still going to be that. There's some you can kind of look at. I don't need to look. Not racing this weekend and a big price, and that's what you're looking for. You want a big price because we are still many months away, and not only do they have to win the Derby for you to collect, they have to show up. So there are things to overcome, and you want to get paid properly making the bet in January. So again, you're going to want to look for some value. All right, I'm going to wrap it up for this edition of the Handicappers Report. Again, top of the hour, racing across America. We will be joined by Joe Christofek from Fairgrounds. They have a great card today. We'll take a look at some of the stakes action with Joe. We'll also be joined by Ellis Starr, the national racing analyst from Equibase. He's also going to look at some of the Fairground stakes, but take a look at the 2 New York stakes as well with Ellis. So some more handicapping ideas coming up to set you up for this really nice Saturday afternoon of racing. Once again, I want to thank our friends at Gulfstream for their sponsorship of this program and some of the other programming and events here at Capital OTB during their championship meet. We appreciate the support of Gulfstream Park. All right, I'm Seth Merrow. This has been the Handicappers Report. Brian Nadeau on a little bit earlier. Hopefully we gave you some good ideas for this afternoon. Stay tuned. We'll be back in a few for Racing Across America. Thanks for tuning in.
You're watching OTB TV, a service of Capital Off Track Betting.